Hi, I'm Gold Porter, and this is River to Consulting's YouTube page. I have here Jennifer Aronson. She runs our domestic staffing division, and as a prior nanny, I figured she has a wealth of knowledge that she can share with our candidates and our clients, and I want to just talk about a couple topics here. So one of the first ones I want to talk about, Jennifer, is what happens in a home. What do you recommend a nanny do in a situation where you have a child that might be, or children that might be disrespectful or kind of acting out? How would you suggest a nanny handle that situation?
Great question, Gold. I think it really comes down to clear communication. First, immediately assess the situation and see what's going on. Are everybody safe? And if they are, I think it's really important to address the children as people versus children and really get them cognitively thinking about their actions. Mm-hmm. And then I think it's important as a group, if the parents are available, to sit down and have a conversation as a group. Obviously, yes, the parents need to be addressed perhaps at some point on their own, but I think the more that the family unit can be together and really work on their communication and work on things together, the better that it will be. And so the family, the parents, and the kids start to build a rapport around their relationship and around their behavior. And the kids can see how important it is to communicate, and the parents can see also that they're holding their kids accountable. Mm-hmm. And I think overall, just together, it makes for a better situation if we're all working on something together.
So would you recommend that the nanny is present for these conversations, or is it the nanny kind of gives the feedback to the parents and then they discuss with their kids, or everybody does it together?
I think it is situational. Mm-hmm. I mean, the level of involvement of the parents depends on their work-home life, and the integral part of the nanny. Mm-hmm. But if everyone can be on the same page and the children know that the nanny is just as important as the parents too are critical, that they're really there as a support system, not just a nanny, but they, in many cases, are an extension of the family.
Yeah.
And so
a parent adjacent.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It needs to be a partnership, because otherwise the children aren't, they're going to be treat the nanny as, well, you're not my parent, so I don't need to. So there has to be a level of respect that is given from the parent, saying, no, they are me in replacement when I'm not here. Yes. You need to listen to them.
I agree. Yeah. I've experienced that too.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Now, if, because we do have so many clients that have these fully staffed homes, there might be multiple nannies. Let's say you're not really able to get the parents in a room, but you are dealing with a child that might have ADHD or some learning disabilities, or just aggressively reaching out because they just can't understand themselves. Do you have a suggestion in that category?
That's really a great question too, because especially with big households, it's really important to let the child know that they're safe and they're being heard, and really that becomes a more person to nanny extended help, like letting them know. A lot in my previous experiences is that kids do act out when they don't feel heard, they don't feel safe. If there's a lot of movement through the household at changing a staff, they won't know what's going on, and if the parents aren't speaking with them. So a lot of reassurance that the child can come and speak with the nanny about anything. Of course, if the child is younger, they may not have those verbal skills. Right. But the nanny just reassuring the child, and then the nanny also keeping logs accordingly and bringing that communication to either the chief of staff, or really making sure to follow up, because sometimes communication does get lost in translation. Right. But the most important thing is follow through, making sure the child feels safe, implementing more routine, being proactive, like as a rapport is built, knowing the times of day that the child is more clear-headed. Is an AM child, a PM child? To what degree is the child interacting with how many children? What type of diet? Also, nutrition does come into play. And being really aware, how much water, are they getting a lot of sugars? Is it more processed or less processed? And there are things that can be addressed to help mitigate those behaviors, especially if they're AD. That's like, we could talk a whole nother topic on that.
Maybe we will.
Yeah. But I think addressing, being upfront, mitigating ahead of time, being proactive. Realistically, if the child is a little bit older and even younger, like kids need to be held accountable, and that they're not going to get away with certain behaviors. And if there are multiple nannies, well, there are things that nanny isn't in control with, but they can be in control of their time with that child. And so the child can come to know, like, okay, well, when I'm with Jennifer, I know that I'm going to have a certain schedule. We're going to
Consistency.
Exactly. Consistency is a great word.